What is up, my fellow Chibits? Hopefully all of you are having a very good day today, because I know many of you right now are probably very shocked to see this video out right now, because honestly, I was very surprised as well when I saw Tokyo Ghoul out on a Sunday. I was like, whoa, what? It's out early? I'm like, what? So, like, yeah. So, here I am. I quickly had to get everything ready and prep just for I can record a live reaction to this, just because I was just, like, shocked to see this out on a Sunday. But anyways, I don't want to spend too much time talking. I want to dive into this chapter. I've been very hyped up to see what's going to happen next, especially after the last chapter. Even though there was no dialogue, it was nothing but Kaneki just going on a rampage, it was still a very good chapter, because you didn't need dialogue to express just the utter terror what Kaneki was in that moment. He became the Tokyo Ghoul. So anyways, let me get to this. Okay, so thousands upon thousands of limbs and eyes descend upon Tokyo. That looks like CCG's main headquarters right there. Oh yeah. Direct hit on the target. Kaneki looks so creepy. Like, he legit looks like that drawing at the end. I mean, at the end, or actually beginning of Part 1 Tokyo Ghoul, my bad. Beginning of the end of the chapter, of the first chapter of Tokyo Ghoul Part 1. It just, the drawing Kaneki did. Like, oh man. Okay, direct hit on the target, direct hit. Wait, are they shooting? Oh, wow, they got freaking helicopters instead of shooting missiles at Kaneki. I guess it makes sense. Like I said in my last live reaction, basically, at this point in time, there's just no way an investigator would be able to fight Kaneki. I mean, Arima was like a reaper of ghouls, but even Arima probably couldn't stand against Kaneki now. There's just no way, because Kaneki is a legit monster. He is a mega monster. He's Godzilla, basically, of Tokyo Ghoul's universe, so... And nobody regular human could possibly fight Kaneki. Even a ghoul could not fight Kaneki, unless they started eating Kaneki or something. But, like I said, he's just so dangerous right now, highly doubt anyone could probably get near him. So, yeah, I guess the next best thing to use against Kaneki to bring him down would be missiles, airstrikes, nuke. Okay, so, preparing strafing volley. Repeat, preparing strafing volley. So I guess we're going to find out if Kaneki can be brought down or not. Okay, let's see. We got cover page. Okay. Oh, wow. There's no fan art. Okay, so... Getting shot. I'm assuming Kaneki's screaming. Hit. It'll fall. Whoa, is that Kaneki? Whoa, that looks like a... Yo, it looks like a freaking centipede. With legs, like really weird legs. That is a very creepy design. Okay, hit. It'll fall. It's gonna fall. Did they do it? Above ground teams move to the road. So this is military action. This is no longer CCG. This is military action against Kaneki. That's insane. Okay, above ground teams move to the road in front of the row. Fire soon as you have eyes on the target. No, not yet. Did they do it? Are we going to evacuate the civilians from the area? Already did. Okay, so civilians have been evacuated from this area. Okay. But this is definitely not the same amount. Like, from what we saw from last chapter, I mean, this is a very massive, like, Hagane, like, tentacle coming out, but that is nothing compared to what we saw in the last chapter, because we saw streets, just complete streets covered in, like, RC cells, or, you know, Kagane and all that, so even though they're fighting this isn't, like, the entirety of the scale of what Kaneki has become, or Dragon. Okay, damage to its shell has been confirmed. So, missiles can actually damage... They can actually damage the shell. Huh. Okay, that's very interesting. Attacks work on this thing, continue firing. Where do we expect it to move to? From the first to the second ward, or perhaps the fourth. That's our best guess. Where is it? Okay, so wait a minute. Let me just talk about this for a second. So attacks work. So they're using, let me go back a couple pages. Okay, first page. So they're using, I'm assuming, attack helicopters. That's what they're using. They're using a strafing volley of missiles, probably shooting at Kaneki, because you actually see the explosions on page 3 if you're counting the cover page and all that from MS. So there's explosions, and they are doing damage. If I look at the shell of Kaneki coming out, it doesn't look like it was a lot of damage, though. I wonder if this Kagane, like, we know this isn't, Kaneki's main body. Like I said, he has multiple tentacles just coming out of the ground and all that. So for all we know, he can literally be underground still, and just, this is tentacles just stretching out from the main body, which is just creepy when you think about it. But, regardless, though, it makes me wonder, since we know that ghouls, they get stronger when they take damage, when they heal and all that, it makes me wonder if the same thing will happen to this. Just to do a brief reminder, you remember, when Kaneki had his checkup, or Heisei Sasuke, actually. It was when Heisei Sasuke had his checkup when he was still an investigator, and we saw, like, a big x-ray on him, and it showed, like, the wounds he took on his body from Jason and all sorts of other, you know, fights he got in throughout part 1. Well, we saw where the big white areas on the x-rays, it was where he took a lot of damage, and then his body, basically, it constructed in a way to where it was a lot stronger, a lot more sturdy. And so it explains why Kaneki was like butter when he first became a ghoul, like why he was able to be cut like, you know, regular stuff like it was nothing, was because his body wasn't as strong as a normal ghoul. And so with him constantly taking damage, it built up his endurance and his, you know, durability over time. So I wonder if his Kagane will build up durability. If it continuously takes damage by missiles and it heals and repairs, will it be able to withstand that damage the more it heals and reconstructs? Very curious about that. Okay, anyways, next page. It fell. Oh. Whoa. Oh, okay, let me read this dialogue. It fell. The hell is this thing? Move to intercept. Above ground team. Move to intercept. Wait, there's still citizens around. Oh, that's it. Ooh. She got checkered skirts. Is that a girl? That's a checkered skirt. Why would Ashina show a character with a checkered skirt? Huh. I don't know who this is, but... Definitely some meaning here. Message, symbolism, or something for the checkered. Sure. Okay, don't know. Okay, did it sustain any damage? Don't know. The target still hasn't ceased its activity. Moved to back up the above ground teams. Wait, above ground teams? So they have underground teams as well? So the military is going underground as well, from what I'm assuming. Okay. Roger. Target on the... Whoa. That is so massive. That is so massive. Is this a different area? I think this is a different area, this picture on page 5. This looks like a different area. So there's multiple fights going on with different, like, tentacles coming out of the ground. It's so mad, dude. It's so big, dude. It's bigger than a building. Oh, man. Okay, target on the move. It's heading from the first ward towards the fourth. Above ground squads are moving to intercept. Flank it. Roger, prepare to intercept. Screaming. Still right. So they're bringing out the big guns. They're bringing tanks. Well, if helicopter missiles can work, I'm going to assume that tanks are going to be able to work as well. Okay, first volley, prepare, first volley. Can you guys believe it? Can we just process this? Like, okay, before we go any further, can we just process that Tokyo Ghoul now is literally like a kaiju manga? Can we process that for a second? Like, can we all wrap our head around the fact that this series has literally became like, it has a kaiju fight going on right now. To think that this series has a kaiju in it. Basically Kaneki, and also the entirety of the series, the title of it, was just built up for this very moment. And in a way, when you look at everything, Ishida's known since the very beginning where he wanted to take the manga. It's very obvious since the first chapter with the drawing of what Kaneki did, his imagination and stuff. So, when you think about it, and how he made the title straight up a reference to what Kaneki has just become, he has literally become the Tokyo Ghoul. Like, the Tokyo Ghoul. You could look at this as like a big prologue. Like, the entirety of Tokyo Ghoul was a big prologue to a kaiju manga. Just let that sink in for a second. Okay, anyways, let me, so they're sending in tanks. I just can't believe tanks are being used in this series. Okay, second vault. Ooh, they are doing some damage. Yeah, they're piercing. It looks like they're piercing the underneath of it and piercing the top. Okay, it does look like the tanks are affected. Even Kaneki's screaming, or whatever that this creature is. It could be like a sentient Kagane, but it's screaming. Okay. Bunch of screaming. Oh, it's not good. Mom. Milk. Do I see milk in the dialogue here on the right? Does that... That says milk. It's M-I-I-L-L-K-K-K-K. It's milk. It's straight milk. Okay. So I'm assuming that's Kaneki's tentacle saying that? Mom? Jew? What? Just a bunch of sound effects, okay. But the tanks got destroyed, though. Okay, on a real note, the tanks got destroyed. So not even tanks, a very powerful weapon, can stop Kaneki. And this is just one tentacle. That's going to continuously grow, obviously, because it continuously is going to devour more and more people, so... If tanks and helicopters cannot stop this, they're going to have to use heavy artillery like airstrikes. Maybe even a nuke. Okay, next page. I'm scared. Oh, yep, there's people running. Man, they're being tracked down by Kaneki. No way. Man, it's just coming in and all the civilians are just running. Okay, so we're getting a very good scale on just how big this is, how bad this is as well. So page 8, you see a page here with a bunch of the RC cell-like tentacles, you know, Kagane coming out. And you see at least 3. I can confirm I can see 3 here. You can see one in the, like, near the foreground, one in the mid, and then one way off in the background. And they're massive. Like, they're like city street massive. Like, they're going in between the street and, like, touching the buildings massive. And then have arms stretching out because you can see it right there going into, like, another intersection. So, oh, man. So, tanks are having that much trouble with just one of these things that are just extending out. And then you see 3 here with a bunch of civilians underneath. Oh, my. You can't stop that. The only way to stop this is literally... They're gonna have to sacrifice the entire city. That's the only way to probably stop this. You'll have to sacrifice the entire city. It's just too massive, too much going on. It keeps devouring people and growing. Oh, man. Someone please, God, Mom. Oh, wow, people screaming for... Whew! Upside down. Wait, what? That's part of the... Is that the chapter title? Just ... One eye. One eye. That's what that meant in the title. Because Tokyo Ghoul technically... Tokyo Ghoul now references Kaneki. It's basically Kaneki. And then Re stands for king. And then the 2 dots, they were basically one-eyed king. Because one was black and one was red. So, Tokyo Ghoul, Kaneki, one-eyed king. Kaneki, one-eyed king. Or one-eyed king Kaneki. Wait, the number is flipped. The chapter number is flipped from, instead of 146, it's 941. Does 941 stand for anything? 941. Year 941 was a common year starting on Friday. Let's see, starting on Friday. The Julian calendar. Okay, I'd have to look into that in my own time, but that's weird. Okay, so let me get back to the chapter. Are we underground? Or is this just destruction by Kaneki? I'm assuming this is underground. So is that Ayato? Wait, there's a bunch of bodies there. Okay, I think this is underground. I'm assuming this is underground. Okay, it definitely is underground. Okay, because that... Is that Furuta? You're right about one thing. All this is beyond human understanding. Whoa, I just realized that background there. And you say this will bring Arima and Haru back. This. Whoa, what's going on here? Okay. That's obviously Furuta. That's his outfit. That's... Looks like his arm is really messed up. Man. Okay, so... I don't know who he's talking to. I have no idea who Furuta is talking to, but... That background... Is that like Kaneki's, like, tentacle coming up? And that looks like a bunch of bodies coming out of it. With lack of eyes. They look like Kaneki. They look like Kaneki, but without eyes. Could that be the people he's eating? Could it be the Ogai? Okay, this will bring Arima and Haru back. Wait, is that Kuri talking? Wait, let me get the next page. Ah, okay, it's Kuri. It is Furuta, so Furuta isn't dead. Okay, answer me. I can only speak in terms of possibilities. But if Kaganes are truly the fruit of imagination itself, even life can be birthed from infinite... No way! No! Yo! I was right. I was right. I was right. I was right. Yo! 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 I was right. I was right. Oh! Okay, let me, before I get into it, let me just read this, okay, just to make sure. That should impress upon you just what that thing is. Possibilities, huh? Give me a number. I don't care if it's just a guess. What percent are we looking at? Essentially 0. I see. Drop dead. Watching it fight those ghouls should have forced you to realize that thing can only create destruction. I was hoping this was just a bit more probable. After all, it's the first time I've actually laid eyes on it in person. In fairy tales, it is said that the king of the 24th Ward once did something similar. He divided up and shared into the world his life force itself. It's looking like my theory could be right. Looks like my sentient Kagane theory could be right, but let me read before I get my hopes up. Let me read. But was that just a fluke? I don't know. And he probably stole a lot more lives than he shared. Kuri, I promise you I had the map. The X marked the treasure. It just so happens that the treasure isn't the sort you wanted. The treasure is destruction, basically. I didn't believe you that far, to be honest. I'm not that much of a fool, but any port in a storm, I just wanted solace. Even if under roofs of straw. But they won't stand much longer, will they? Wow, Kuri's crying. I'm so... Did Fert just say sorry? Is he acting? No, he looks worn down and depressed. Is he legitimately sorry? Even though you're enemies... Wait, is that Hiriko? You just couldn't kill them, could you? Wait, so Hiriko's a... We went at it for real. Both of us were inches from death multiple times. Just one more step and we would have died. Both of us could feel it. But then this thing showed up. That does look like Kaneki right there, extending out of a cognate. Oh my, that's so creepy. But then this thing showed up. It looks like the Flood. It legit looks like the Flood. Like, I don't know how many of you play Halo or anything, okay? Like, I don't know how many of you care, or how many of you Chibits are Halo fans, but if you know about the Flood from Halo, that looks like the Flood. Like, you know, a grave mine tentacle coming out of the ground with, like, bodies attached to it. Yo, that looks like the grave mine. Okay, but then this thing showed up, and before we know it, we're shoulder to shoulder. Our mental misgivings were swept away, our bodies just automatically moved to respond. Survival instincts. Humanity's survival instincts, that's what that was. So, in turn, what Furuta wanted, he did use Kaneki as a martyr, and Kaneki is the main villain, and everybody else is joining hands and working against Kaneki. So, in turn, what we expected is happening. Kuri and Hiriko set aside their differences to work together to save themselves and save the people around them. Kaneki is the villain. Oh yeah, I see. How nice. I'll be going. Oh, whoa. Furta's face is all messed up, too. I just realized that. His face is messed up right here on his left side. I'm not the Bureau Chief anymore. I think this is the most honest we have probably had Furuta in this series. What will you do, Kuri? I'm going to the surface. I'm an investigator at... You won't be able to do nothing against Kaneki at this state. Not even Arma could fight Kaneki in this state. He's a monster. It's like saying, hey, let's put a regular foot soldier up against Godzilla. Let's see how that works. It's not. And you, Hiriko? You probably need someone to watch your... Wow, they are working... So we're seeing an alliance here. Two common enemies working together to bring down something that's a greater foe to both species, or two different people, so makes sense. The only time humanity would ever unite is when there is a foe that can wipe everyone out, so this makes a lot of sense. The world that Arma wished for, that's where we're headed, right, aren't we? I don't know. At the very least, I'd like to see it. Is that Touka? Inside the... just dot. Next issue inside the dot. Cheetah's really being, like, weird with these chapter titles or whatever. But I don't know. At the very least, I'd like to see it come true. So, that's Touka. So she's not dead. But it looks like she's covered in blood. Like she's legit covered in blood. Like you could see her outfit. Look at her shirt. Blood. Her hair is... What's that in the background? That looks like one of the eyeballs from Kaneki. So I guess it's a body that's coming out. Okay, so anyways, let me, okay, give me just a sec. Let me check my camera batteries, and then I want to discuss this chapter, okay? Okay, so this is like the after discussion. I just did a live reaction, so I'm thinking about everything that just happened in this chapter now, and this chapter confirms my theory, my long-standing theory I've had since 2015, since Noro's real big spotlight in Tokyo Ghoul. I discussed the aspect of sentient Kagane because of Eto's Kagane talking. As soon as we saw Eto's Kagane talk and had speech, I mentioned the fact that sentient Kagane could be a legit thing. And now, this chapter basically confirms. It confirms. You can't deny. There's people still denying it when Donato had, like, a Kagane clone and all that. People were denying it, saying, oh, they're just, controlling it remotely. And so it's not necessarily of its own will, its own, sentient mind. So it's not a sentient Kagane. It was just being controlled like a remote control, like, car or something. So people were essentially saying that, no, there is no such thing as sentient Kagane. I was still having people denying me, basically saying my theory was still false. I was brain dead. That's what people were saying. I was brain dead because I said that sentient Kagane is definitely going to be a thing. And continuously, every time that it seemed like my theory became more and more apparent, many continue to say, nah, you're brain dead. It's not happening. Well, you can't deny it now. You legit can't deny it now with this chapter. If you deny it, I don't even want you here. I'm legit. I don't. Because now, at this point in time, with what was stated here, it seems like Ishida has been building this up for a very long time. In this case, we might have found the origin of ghouls with this chapter. So, basically, from my understanding of this chapter, the One-Eyed King, a long time ago, over 100 years ago, as we know, he became exactly like what Kaneki is right now. A massive being that was nothing but a big bundle of RC cells. And we've seen this deep underground when Ayato went to visit. So from what we can assume is that was the king, what we saw. Now we don't know exactly if the king is technically still there because we haven't really seen him, but we could essentially assume that he's probably still alive in some shape or form. However, from what we have found out was that a long time ago when the king did go on this rampage and he was devouring people and he became what Kaneki is right now, he was able to actually take and give life. In essence, you could say that the original One-Eyed King became God. He legit became God. The king was able to take and would also give life. And so, he, like I said, was essentially God. And in the past, he was able to create life. Now, the beginning of the imagination with Kagane, that's been there for a long while, actually. It's been in our face since almost the beginning of Tokyo Ghoul. We know that Kakuja forms, we know that they took many shapes, and after finding out more details about them in Tokyo Ghoul Re, the shape of your Kagane or Kakuja is your imagination, or mental scars, whatever. And so, basically we knew imagination was key. It was able to bring life to different shapes of Kagane, and there was very unique Kaganes that started to pop up in, the chapters of Tokyo Ghoul Re. Now, my theory, what I said a long time ago, I said that sentient Kagane could be a possibility, because RC cells, they're like advanced stem cells. They are stem cells. They're just like a supernatural version, but they're definitely like a version of stem cells. And in a way, we have seen that RC cells are able to do miraculous things. They're able to regen the body, and it looks like they're beyond repair, bring body parts back together again, and even fix and heal someone's mind, put their mind back together. And so, because of this, we know that RC cells are capable of replicating a brain, bringing a brain back, and making a new brain, and also, forming human speech, being able to make tongue, and being able to, talk, because we've seen Kagane clones. And so, my theory of sentient Kagane has been around. I've talked about this many times. And with the king now basically being revealed to have been given life, we could assume that he, or something even before him, was the origin of ghouls, and what started ghouls in the first place. Now, just in case you're not understanding what I'm talking about, all ghouls came from one single source. Think about it like this. Let's just say Kaneki is the original ghoul. Now, all these bodies spitting out of Kaneki, those are new ghouls. What I'm saying is that a long time ago, even before the One-Eyed King, most likely there was something that happened to some form of human or whatever happened. We don't exactly know the details, but something happened, and basically some person expanded to the point to where they were just this big mass of RC cells. Just this big bundle of RC cells, like what Kaneki is right now. And then they started to give life. They started to give some of their life force and then bring about new things into existence, which was people or ghouls. And so the origin of ghouls most likely is from one person. One person, which was a mass of things and then gave life to other creatures. And that's what's happened here. And from what we could assume is why some humans have some bundle of RC cells in them as well, is because humans as well came from ghouls. We always assumed that humans were like the first species and ghouls evolved from humans, but that doesn't necessarily seem to be the case, actually. From what you could assume from what's going on here, it seems like ghouls could have been the original species and that humans evolved from ghouls. That's what we could assume. We could assume that it was actually, we had it wrong all along. It was not ghouls that evolved from humans, it was humans that evolved from ghouls. They no longer needed the kakuho, they didn't need RC cells to continue to live, and then they expanded and they only needed certain food. And so, that's essentially what happened. One creature, whatever, expanded and gave life to many beings on the planet. And so, that's what's happening. Kaneki is basically God at this moment, or the original One-Eyed King was God, or the one before him was God, giving life and taking life. So, yeah, imagination as well. As we know, it plays a big key factor. And what happens when someone has a very active imagination, is able to bring to life his imagination? Well, if he had unlimited power and able to create things, then he definitely could certainly be called God. And we know Kaneki has a very active imagination. There's a very likely possibility he could bring about many different clones of him with their own personalities. We've seen that he's even replicated, Hide in his mind. So there's a very likely possibility that what we see here is the origin of the species. Not just ghouls, but humanity. Where they came from in the series. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's really cool when you think about it. So, sentient Kagane is a thing. And we've had it wrong all along. Ghouls aren't an evolved species. They're actually the pre-species. Interesting. And so we can assume ROS disease. ROS disease is probably, if I had to assume, in some shape or form, what happened to the original person. However this happened, like RC cells and all that formed and became like God and spawned a bunch of creatures and stuff. I'm going to assume that ROS disease was kind of the start of that. Because we know it continuously expanded out of, Shirazu's sister's body. Continuously came out like a tumor, like cancer or whatever. So, possibility. It is. So, yeah. A lot of answers. A lot of questions, but origin. The origin of the species, everyone. Do you still don't believe my sentient Kagane theory now? Here we go. I mean, Ashita basically spelled it out for you. If you can't get that from this chapter, I don't know what to say. So with that, I want to end this video. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. I love you guys. Please be safe. Chibi out.